Welcome to Notre Dame San Jose to our virtual dedication for the Center of Women's Leadership, the building that you see behind me. My name is Mary Beth Riley and I am the principal of this high school. We want to thank you for joining us today to dedicate this building. And I think many of you might be asking, why? Why are you dedicating this building, Mary Beth? It's not done, one. Two, it's COVID, and you can't bring your students back into that building for a while yet. Well, there's good reason why we chose this day, and let me explain that to you. Long ago, we chose this day to dedicate this building this year, because this is today the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, that gave women the access to the vote. So that was an important day. It was great progress for democracy, and we want to celebrate that as we dedicate our building for the Center for Women's Leadership, because there is a great crossover there. But we also want to recognize at this time that this access to vote for women did not include all women. It did not include the indigenous Native American women who didn't receive that access until 4 years later, 1924. We want to acknowledge right now in this moment that they were the first women of this country, and we stand with them. We also want to acknowledge that women of color did not have access to the vote in 1920 when this amendment was ratified. Most especially African American women. There were many African American suffragists who worked alongside the white suffragists that are today well known, people like Susan B. Anthony and Alice Paul. These women worked hard and put much on the line in order to gain access for the 19th Amendment. However, women whose names we don't know as well, women like Ellen Watkins Harper and Marianne Shadd Carey, were among those women who fought hard for the 19th Amendment and then did not benefit from it. In fact, it took another 40 years until the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and a lot of battled moments about poll taxes and literacy tests and outright violence and intimidation before all of these women were included. And yet, even today, we see the challenge of this. Today, we dedicate this center to all women who have paved the way and to the promise of the positive impact of the Notre Dame students. The Center for Women's Leadership will stand as an icon. It will be an icon here on this campus. It will be an icon for the city of San Jose. This center will enhance opportunity for Notre Dame students. It will be a place for innovation and discovery, a place for charting life's journeys, a place for reflection and centering on justice issues. This will be a place for women in this community to gather and share both inspiration and aspirations. We commit to this. We commit to educate women for leadership in San Jose and for the world. We commit to shape women leaders to be bold, to be fearless in recognizing injustices, fearless in working for a better world. We recognize that the path that brings us to this very auspicious moment required a lot of vision, support, and hard work of so very many people who believe in this mission, who believe in this school, who believe in Notre Dame. And I want to extend a special warm welcome, very warm welcome, to some of those people who are here with us today. Katie Haggerty Zazueta, alumna and parent, her husband Tom, and her daughter Carolyn. To Mark Fernandez, board member, Melanie Fernandez and Sarah Fernandez, incoming freshmen. To John Sobrato, former board member, Nancy Erba, one of the leaders of this campaign to build the Center for Women's Leadership, joined with Cindy and Randy Pond. Cindy, alumna, Randy, long and loyal supporters of Notre Dame San Jose, and Darcy and Jim Kirkland and their alumna daughters, Maddie and Jen. All of you were with us in the very beginning as we left the gates on this journey to build this building. You were leaders for us, you were strong supporters, and you have stood by us to the finish line today as we dedicate this building on this very warm morning. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for your inspiration and your leadership. And to all of those who are watching, I want to thank you too. I want to thank you for joining us on this very auspicious date as we dedicate this newest building for Notre Dame San Jose, the Center for Women's Leadership. And now I would like to invite up Sister Nancy O'Shea, alumna, proud alumna of this school and a leader herself for the Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur, to lead us in prayer. Sister Nancy.
Thank you, Mary Beth. As I was driving here this morning, I couldn't help but remember all the Sisters of Notre Dame, their co-workers, faculty, staff, alums, all who have gone before us today over the years. Some who would probably wish they could be here today, but because of limitations just couldn't be. So we'd like to bring all of those people, remember them all, and bring them to our hearts and prayers today. So let us give a moment to give thanks. Loving God, thank you for the wisdom and creativity you have given to those who envisioned this beautiful new building. Thank you for the spirit of generosity you have given to the many donors who helped to make it a reality for generations to come. And thank you for the skill you have given to the architects and builders who fashioned this structure through the work of their hands. We ask you to bless all who will teach and study here. May they develop the necessary values and skills that will help them be influential leaders in their chosen paths. May they bring compassionate influence to their families, cities, and professions to which they will bring their talents shaped here at Notre Dame. May they have the perseverance of our foremothers who led us to gain the vote, and live in the spirit of St. Julie Billiart, the foundress of the Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur, who said, "We must have the courage for the century in which we live." May the young women who study here go out and make a profound and necessary impact for justice that is so needed in our world today and in the many days ahead. We ask this blessing in the name of our Creator God. Amen.
Thank you. Oops. Thank you, Sister Nancy. I would now like to introduce our student body president from the class of 2021. So great to have a student on campus in their uniform. And I introduce you to Maddie Wong. Maddie.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maddie Wong, ASB School President, and I am so honored to witness a moment of history today. From the freeway, the Center for Women's Leadership looks like just a building, But to the ND community, it is a symbol of the future built from the love and hard work of so many people. My fellow ND sisters and I are beyond grateful for our brand new Center for Women's Leadership. Because of this building, our ND family experienced many special moments. We got to watch our manly lot break ground to represent the start of something great. We signed our names all over a beam that will quite literally support the future and cement our place in ND history. My fellow student leaders and I even had the chance to film a Spirit Week video with our wonderful construction workers last year. But starting off the new school year with the brand new building, that is the greatest milestone yet. Our school isn't the biggest, but our spirit and impact is incomparable. But because we are rather small, this building is extra special because it gives students more space to become a part of something bigger than themselves. Standing in front of this building, I can only dream of all the powerful, impactful women that will flourish in the new innovation labs, flexible classrooms, and prayer and meditation spaces. Future leaders, activists, engineers, athletes, maybe even the first female president. I mean, it is about time. This has been a very challenging year, but this has definitely put a smile on my face. Our leadership theme this year is Together, and I know that this new building is going to bring us together in times of both crisis and celebration. Today is definitely a moment of celebration. However, with this current crisis, this building will ensure that the safety and health of the students is a priority. There is no better time than now for a symbol of hope like the Center for Women's Leadership. On behalf of all the current students and all the future women of impact that ND will create, I would like to thank the special people who made this all possible. First of all, we would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our donors. Your generous contributions have fueled innovation and leadership for generations of ND students. Our robotics team thanks you for their new engineering lab where they will craft the ideas of tomorrow. Our religious studies department thanks you for a space to learn, pray, and live out God's teachings. Your names are not only etched into the bricks, classroom names, and atrium plaques, but etched into legacy forever. Because of you, Notre Dame is able to create a loving environment where strong women can work and pray. Without your generous contribution, none of this would be possible. The students of Notre Dame, current and future, the faculty and staff, as well as the community of San Jose, are so grateful to you. I would also like to thank Miss Riley, the ND administration, faculty, and staff who made this all possible. When I said that this building was built out of the love and hard work, it was because I saw how hard you all worked to create a safe space for us to learn. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for always supporting us and for everything you do. I'm beyond excited to see the bright future that the Center for Women's Leadership will bring. In my last year at ND, I can't wait to learn and laugh in this new space. ND will always be my home, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for both of us. Thank you, and ora et labora. We are so honored to have the president of the Board of Santa Clara County Supervisors with us today. She is a champion for women, a strong supporter of Notre Dame, and has participated in so many opportunities with our students here on campus. It is my honor to introduce President of the Board of Supervisors, Cindy Chavez.
Well, good morning, everyone. First of all, let me just say how honored I am to be introduced by Madam President, Monica Tung, and I agree we should hear a lot more of that. Let me say why I am so excited to be here at Notre Dame today. Notre Dame has had a long history of valuing women, valuing women's education, valuing women's development, and valuing young women's character. And by the way, long before it was chic to do it. Why is that important? Because what this building represents is a confidence in the future that women will play in the world. To me, not only are we here on the ratification of the 19th Amendment, but we're here on at another very special time in human history. The young women who are coming out of here today are going to be addressing climate change, racial inequity, economic inequity, frankly, challenges that we can't even imagine. And as I look forward today, and especially here as we're here fighting COVID-19, I just think about what these leaders will do that will put us on a better path. And this building reflects the confidence in young women and their role in the world. I want to close with just two thoughts. One, the leadership of Notre Dame, both its administrative leadership, with our principal, Mary Beth Riley, and the principals who've come before her, have all been fierce, fierce women who've really put their mark on our community. I want to thank very much them and the alumni who've given so much resources back to this community, because what we value is what we invest in. And this says we're investing in the future, we're investing in women, and we're investing in hope. Thank you for letting me join you.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Chavez, for championing so many causes. Your job today is so very challenging, but you are so important in our community, and we look to your leadership to continue. Thank you for engaging our students in opportunities and for your continued support of this school. I am now proud to invite our board chairperson to the podium. She is an alumna, a parent, serves on our board of directors, has played so many roles, and in my first year at Notre Dame as a French teacher, she was a junior in high school. I'm very, very warm welcome to Katie Zazueta.
Thank you, Mary Beth. 33 years ago, I graduated from Notre Dame High School, San Jose. When I entered in 1983, I knew I was someplace special. I did not really appreciate the idea of an all-women's high school education, but I knew right away that NDSJ was going to provide me with an education that I could not receive from my traditional neighborhood public school. When we reflect upon August 18th, 1920, when the 19th Amendment to the Constitution was finally ratified, it was at that moment that when the course of my personal journey started, declaring for the first time that women, like men, deserve the right to vote. This is at the foundation of the spirit of our NDSJ all-women education, which gave me a voice, and my predecessors, and everyone after, the opportunity for equality and for their vote to count and their voice to be heard. This Center for Women's Leadership building is a representation of Notre Dame San Jose's 169-year journey to equality in education, freedom of expression, and resilience that even during uncertain times and not knowing where all the funds could come from, to enable us to construct this building, we preserved with many donors, leaders, and advocates, we were able to build on the legacy of our school. In this location, I used to enter the mansion to take classes and climb the vintage staircase in awe of the women that came before me. And I knew even upon graduation, I would always be loyal to my alma mater. Little did I know I would join the Alumni Council Board upon graduation from college in 1991, be engaged during the building of Manly in the early 2000s, join the board in 2014 and support the Center for Women's Leadership Capital Campaign, and then serve as board chair during the landmark building opening in 2020. I told Mary Beth a few weeks back, by the way, I was a student of hers, as she mentioned, in the mid-'80s when she joined ND, and she has been a mentor to me for over 3 decades. So I told her during all the COVID challenge, BLM, unrest, and much more, we are both exactly where we are meant to be right now at this moment. We are both exactly where we need to be. Doesn't it feel amazing? And truly, God's will and plan for us both? She said definitively, yes, what a blessing. I welcome all of you to the new NDSJ Center for Women's Leadership in the heart of downtown San Jose and at the heart of my existence. I thank ND for much of who I am and for instilling the values of St. Julie Billiart. Teach them what they need to know for life. Congrats, ND, and congrats, Carolyn Casasueta, class of 2022. We did it!
Thank you so much, Katie. I too share those same sentiments that you share, and it is so personal to be here. My name is Monica Gomez, and I work in alumni relations. As an alumna, a person who works here at Notre Dame, and now a mom to an incoming sophomore, I couldn't be more proud to be a part of the history and tradition of our school, along with the legacy of so many women for nearly 170 years. I am especially grateful to our alums for contributing to this milestone that is shaping the vision of our school. Our alumni, spanning several generations, are the epitome of the unique sisterhood we share as an institution and a huge part of building the lifelong network. The Center for Women's Leadership will serve as a premier focal point for women, advancing our causes and creating an inclusive space for all women in the center of Silicon Valley. I am now so proud to introduce my daughter, who helped form the group League of Young Women Voters here on campus, Melina, from the class of 2023.
As youth, we are facing so many challenges during this time of a worldwide crisis. Yet this is also a year filled with so much opportunity. As a leader in our student group, League of Young Women Voters, our work is to advocate and get our voices heard and to promote the right to vote. I admire the women from the 1920s and after who advocated for the 19th Amendment, paving the way for people like me to not ever take for granted our right to vote and the responsibility that comes with it. I am not old enough to vote yet, and I will always have a place to promote justice with the Center for Women's Leadership. It will help us with leadership, advocacy on so many levels. I am so excited to be a part of this, and come November, be a part of advocating more for the women's right to vote and the youth voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Melina, and thank you for your leadership for voting on campus. Before we move to our ribbon cutting dedication ceremony, we want to thank all of our many donors. I also want to note, you've probably noticed our downtown environment, and we added the music of sirens and whistles and beeping machines. It's just the normal music around our campus. We're going to take a moment to recognize the many donors that made this possible, and then we're going to move over and actually cut a ribbon, and I want you all to be at home and here ready to exult and celebrate with us. So watch the screen. Thank you. Are we live?
Okay, get ready, Mary Beth.
Okay, are we ready? Are we live?
I'm gonna snap a quick photo.
Okay, that's great. Gosh, are we live? Okay, great. So here's the scissors, and here's the dedication thing. What I want you to do from home, and everyone, I want you to picture 606 students with us right now, over 90 Notre Dame employees that are all like celebrating and cheering and saying, "Hail Notre Dame! Hail Notre Dame!" You ready? Let's see if we got this. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Hail no. Yeah. Flip them? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Take two, go.
Take 2. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Hail Notre Dame. Go.
Hold on to it really tight.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
You do it. Go, go.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah! Thank you. Hail Notre Dame! Woo! Thank you. Thank you and goodbye. Thank you and goodbye. Thank you so much.
Hey, don't ride these. They slide.
You've done this before.
You know what? I feel like that.